Stop. Just stop for a moment. Can you smell it? The chalk dust hanging in the classroom, thick and sharp. Can you hear it? The wooden floorboards creaking under little leather shoes in perfect rhythm. Now, listen. Your mother's voice slicing the air, short, deadly, full of meaning. These weren't just words. They were spells. They were the fire and the comfort of childhood. They could make you laugh, freeze, or wish the walls would swallow you whole. Welcome to Germany in the 60s and 70s, where sayings ruled and childhood obeyed. 15 phrases, 15 truths, 15 moments that will hit your memory like a train arriving on time. Number 15. Ordnung muss sein. There must be order. Order was sacred. Sacred like Sunday prayers, like the smell of boiled cabbage, like the sound of a broom scraping tiles at 7 a.m. Your toys lined up like soldiers. Your shoes paired and polished. Your pencils sharper than your wit. One crumb on the table, one sock on the floor, and chaos would tremble in your mother's glare. Even the wallpaper seemed to straighten itself out of fear. Chaos doesn't visit Germany. It files an appointment request first. And somehow, even now, when you alphabetize your fridge, you hear her voice whisper, Ordnung muss sein. Number 14. Kinder, die was wollen, kriegen was auf die Bollen. Children who want something get something on the bum. That line hit harder than a tin robot dropped from a high shelf. You wanted candy, you wanted toys, you wanted just one moment of rebellion, and your bottom learned the economics of negotiation. Parents didn't bargain, they executed policy. And still you laughed through tears because this was Germany, discipline wrapped in love, disguised as violence. Therapy is optional, wooden spoons are compulsory. By the time you left home, your memory of the pain was sweeter than the chocolate you almost stole. Number 13. Was du heute kannst besorgen, das verschiebe nicht auf morgen. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Procrastination didn't exist. Not in kitchens smelling of soap, not in classrooms heavy with chalk dust. If homework awaited, it was now. Not later, not after cartoons, not after crying quietly under your bed. The clock ticked, and your father's voice carved urgency into your veins. It smelled like pencils, it sounded like footsteps, it felt like panic mixed with awe. Modern productivity gurus would weep. Hashtags couldn't compete. The lesson? Laziness is a luxury reserved for politicians, not children. Number 12. Erst die Arbeit, dann das Vergnügen. First work, then pleasure. Saturday mornings began with drudgery, not cartoons. Tours were relentless. Fun was mythical, promised but never delivered. You scrubbed, polished, swept. Your reward, lukewarm malt coffee and parental nods of approval. And yet, pride hid in the creases of your palms, in the hum of the vacuum, in the scent of waxed floors. Germans don't relax. They schedule it, optimize it, check boxes along the way. Still, you felt like a tiny architect of the universe, building order with each scrubbed tile. Number 11. Spare in der Zeit, dann hast du in der Not. Save when you can, and you'll have in need. Every jam jar, every ribbon, every scrap of bread was sacred. Reuse was law. Thrift was art. Scarcity was elegance. The kitchen smelled of wood and potatoes. The cupboards whispered wisdom. The air tasted like survival. Today, we call it eco-friendly. Back then, it was common sense carved from necessity. We didn't recycle. We simply never stopped using things. And yet it worked. It created cunning minds, patient hands, and clever hearts.
Number 10. Reden ist Silber, Schweigen ist Gold. Speech is silver, silence is golden. Sunday lunches were theaters of restraint. Cutlery clinked, soup steamed, and the silence weighed heavier than the roast on the table. Speak out of turn, and your father's eyebrow alone could freeze the rind. It smelled of roasted meat, it sounded of anticipation, it pressed against your chest with the weight of generations. Now we post endlessly online, drowning in silver. Back then, silence was golden. Silence once saved your life, now it just signals bad Wi-Fi. Number 9. Der Apfel fällt nicht weit vom Stamm. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Every mistake, spilled milk, scraped knee, bad report card came with that sigh. Eyes fixed on the guilty child, glances exchanged like secret telegrams. It was poetry, judgment, inevitability, all rolled into a phrase. Cabbage stew simmered, slippers squeaked, and you realized the joke was true. Heredity doesn't negotiate. By adulthood, you whisper it to your own children and laugh. The orchard continues. Number 8. Morgenstund hat golden Mund. The morning hour has gold in its mouth. Ah, the betrayal of dawn. Dragged from warmth into cold air, dew clinging to your ankles, birds mocking your misery. The kitchen smelled of coffee, the bread crusts were stiff, the day was relentless. Yet there was beauty. Sunlight glinting on frost, steam rising from porridge, the world waking slowly, obediently. Early birds get the worm. Germans get productivity anxiety. And somehow, decades later, you rise early and smile, still hearing that old whisper. Number 7. Wie man in den Wald hineinruft, so schallt es heraus. What you shout into the forest echoes back. Karma in pine-scented perfection. Cheeky remark to a parent, and echoes returned in discipline, swift, precise, unforgettable. Forest paths crunched under boots, air smelled of moss and cold, punishment was poetic. Shout nonsense online today, it comes back faster, louder, and with worse grammar. Yet this saying shaped our tone, our respect, our subtle humor. One word, one echo, a lifetime of lessons. Number 6. Ende gut, alles gut. All's well that ends well. Dinner burnt, dog ran away, uncle drank too much. Still, Ende gut, alles gut. The cigarette smoke curled, the laughter lingered, the relief tasted like malt schnapps. Life could be messy, but a sigh, a proverb, a wink could make it right. Today, people need yoga for the same effect. Back then, we just shrugged and moved on. This phrase carried the warmth of survival and the poetry of quiet endurance.
Number 5. Ehrlich währt am längsten. Honesty lasts the longest. Confess your misdeeds, and punishment often followed. Ironically, a reward for truth. A vase shattered? Confess. Homework lost? Confess. The moral sting was real, but the lesson was gold. Truth lingered in the air, like the smell of wax, and somehow it made life richer, harsher, funnier. Germans play honesty like a sport. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you get a medal of conscience. And yet, this phrase shaped integrity in ways textbooks never could. Number 4. Einbildung ist auch eine Bildung. Imagination is also an education. Said by the eccentric uncle, corduroy-clad and cigarette in hand. It smelled of coffee, oil paint, and rebellion. In a world obsessed with order, it whispered, "It's okay to be absurd, to dream wildly, to paint outside the lines." Creativity got you scolded as a child, praised as an adult, and mocked in corporate emails. Still, imagination survived. Sharper than pencils, louder than parents, enduring like the vinyl spinning in the corner. Number 3. Was sich liebt, das neckt sich. Those who love each other tease each other. Siblings fighting, children muddying the floor, crushes pushing boundaries, all explained. Love came with pranks, punches, and mud. The smell of wet grass, laughter echoing, hearts racing. That was affection. Germans flirt with honesty, tease with affection, and call it love. Even decades later, you know the truth. Teasing is love with a German accent. Number 2. Ohne Fleiß kein Preis. No pain, no gain. Exams, chores, recorder practice, the mantra of relentless effort. Work first, rest later, discipline forever. The sound of chalk, the hiss of the iron, the scent of linoleum, all reminders that effort was noble. If Germans relax, it's only to plan the next project, efficiently and with spreadsheets. Still, that grit built character, skill, and a quiet pride that modern life often forgets. Number 1. Man lernt nie aus. You never stop learning. Grandparents spoke softly, eyes twinkling, hands rough but gentle. It smelled of old books, pipe smoke, and patience, a comfort against fear. It meant stumble, fail, rise again, and keep walking. A phrase that grows with you, whispers to you in every new lesson, every new joy, every scraped knee. Even today, decades later, it hums in the background of life, steady, eternal, forgiving. These sayings weren't just words. They were the scent of boiled cabbage, the feel of chalk, the sound of a wooden floor. They taught order, patience, irony, and humor. A generation sculpted in syllables. And though the world races, tweets, and scrolls, their echoes remain,
stitched into memory, stubborn as old leather, comforting as malt coffee. Which one do you remember most? Which one still whispers to you in the quiet moments of life? Because no matter the years, no matter the chaos, these words still live inside us.